Well, good morning. My name is Kevin Millington, and I'm the president of the Empire State Aerosciences Museum. And I'm here today on Saturday, May 14th, 2011, at the museum at Schenectady County Airport in Glenville with one of our best volunteers, Walter Bardsley. Walter is a great volunteer here at the museum with our research and library committee. And Walter, you're also an aviator in World War II on a great plane, the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress. And thank you very much, Walter, for agreeing to this interview. And I know you have a great story.
I've always been interested in airplanes. I had my first ride in 1936 at East Boston Airport, and from there on I was hooked.
What did you fly in?
It was a Stinson Reliant.
Oh, okay.
That was my first airplane ride.
What kind of plane was that?
That was a high wing, about a 5-place airplane. The pilot and I think there were 4 of us on board otherwise. So we took the usual half-hour ride around the city of Boston.
That kind of bit you, huh? The bug for flying?
I'd run out the house all the time to watch airplanes. Yeah. And to become a tail gunner, we were down to 3 people for positions. So our pilot said, "Why don't you guys draw straws for your tail position?" So I ended up with the shortest straw in the bunch.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's how I became a tail gunner.
And you were assigned to a heavy bomb unit?
Yes, I was flying to a heavy bomb unit in the B-17s.
Okay.
Well,
the significance, Walter, I did have a great model here of a B-17. The B-17, Boeing B-17, I know entered service in around 1940.
That B, by the looks of it, seems to be the F model.
This is an F model, did not have the chin turret, but this was a great heavy bomber, largely recognized probably as the best heavy bomber of World War II. It was succeeded by the much more complicated B-29 late in the war, but the B-17, I know, really bore the brunt together with the B-24 for the Allied offensive bombing missions against Nazi-occupied Germany and Europe, attacking military targets far into Europe.
And they were a very rugged airplane. They would take tremendous amount of punishment.
Okay. Well, you said a gunner. What's the significance of that, Walter? What was the crew of the B-17?
It was 10 people on board: pilot, co-pilot,
bombardier, the bombardier,
navigator, and bulk turret gunner,
right,
and 2 waist gunners,
right, one on each side,
radio man,
right,
and I was in the tail position.
Okay. So, what was the significance of these gun positions? What was your job?
Well, and actually, as far as the tail position goes, to protect any attacking on the tail section of the airplane. The ball turret covered underneath the airplane, and of course the 2 waist gunners, they had waist guns on each side. Radio man had 1 single gun at the top, and he could use that if necessary. The flight engineer would man the upper turret, covering the front of the airplane, and then the bombardier and the navigator, they each had single 50 caliber machine guns to them. And then the later models, there was a chin turret.
Oh, the G model, I introduced it to.
Yeah, that the bombardier operated.
Well, I had the pleasure of flying in a B-17, Walter, a couple of years ago when the Collins Foundation came. And some of the things that impressed me, I'd like you to share your experiences.
Sure.
Is it seemed to had a huge wing, so I guess you would classify it.
It was a very
wing loading,
broad wing and long. We could carry up to 3,000 gallons of fuel. They even would put what we call Tokyo tanks on near the wingtips, give us additional fuel.
Oh, so most of the fuel was carried internally?
In the main portions of the wing. And you see they were vented. You see the vents behind each engine.
And what were your missions of the B-17?
Well, we hit what we call the strategic targets, businesses, factories, oil refinery, that was our big target area. Marshalling yards, railroads.
Oh, in Germany.
In Germany, somewhat Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Italy, and we had one wing of B-17s, and that would be either 5 or 6 groups, 4 squadrons to a group.
How many planes were in a squadron?
Usually put up about 6 for each operation.
Okay.
6 or 7, it would fluctuate.
Mm-hmm. Right. What was your most memorable mission? Do you have one?
Well, there were 2 of them, really. There was one, it might have been a trip to Vienna. I'm not sure, but anyway, we come off the target, and we had lost an engine. They had to feather an engine, and it wasn't long before a second engine started running rough.
And you had 4 engines on the B-17?
We had 4 going. We came into southern Austria, we were descending pretty well controlled, and all of a sudden the 3rd engine started running rough.
Oh, boy.
Well, the pilot told us, look, we may not make it back to the base, we're going to try to make it to this emergency strip off the coast of Yugoslavia. It was an island called Vis, V-I-S, and they had an emergency strip there. The planes could land, get into it, But the pilot said, we may not going to make that now. We want you to get into your ditching positions. So all the people back at the bomb bay would gather in the radio room. We sat on the floor because this hatch would jettison quickly, and we got out on the wing, and then right in here the emergency life rafts.
So if the plane was in trouble, I mean, normally watching movies of the crew bailing out in parachutes, but ditching, you meant the pilot was going to attempt an in-water landing?
Yes, and the B-17 was quite good making a water landing. It would stay together. And we had about 15 minutes time to bail before any sinking would take place. B-24s used to break up. They designed the airplane, and it just wasn't copacetic for the water landing.
Well, I guess one of the things I hear from you is that the B-17 was it may have been slow. What was its top speed? Was probably 200 miles an hour?
Our level speed generally low was running about 145.
So when you were attacking the targets in formation, you were going about 145 miles an hour.
Depending on ground speed, we might have been going into the wind.
Sure.
That might have slowed us down. So anyway, this going into these, he said, we're going to try to make it. So we turned in, we could begin to spot this runway on an island, which is about 7 miles off the coast of Yugoslavia. And just as we turned final, he said, okay, we're feathering number 3. So we went in right on down through one engine, pulling us all the way down. And we stayed on that runway. We didn't move. We just rolled right down to the end of the runway.
Oh, so you did not have to make an in-water landing?
No, we avoided the ditching procedure.